we build a network of trusted professionals and trusted service providers in our team, in our studio, so that when clients are working with someone else, the quality is so good that they don't even really notice a difference, right? And this is where, you know, when people say to me, well, I'm afraid to try. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Female Empowered Podcast. I'm your host. I'm Krista Gurka. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode here. And I think this episode is going to be one that is very well received by the listeners of this podcast because it's something that comes up all the time in our coaching groups, in the Facebook groups and our coaching calls, things that I hear from business owners when I talk to them on discovery calls, and just things in general and other Facebook groups and stuff. So what we're going to talk about today is what to do when clients don't want to work with someone else on your team. So specifically, when you as the owner, as a founder, are the technician, are teaching classes, are treating patients, have one-on-ones, and you as the owner need to and are trying to remove yourself from client-facing work to free up your time, as most of us do as we transition into the role of CEO, to free us up to work on the growth and sustainability of our business. We need to start passing off clients or not taking new clients. And that can be a struggle for many reasons. One, it's a struggle for us as owners and founders and CEOs internally, whether you think it or not, because we are practitioners at heart. We are physical therapists. We are Pilates instructors. Most of us are really good at it, and we can do it with our eyes closed. So it makes it difficult for us to step away from that because that's where we feel comfortable. That's where we feel powerful. That's where we feel in control. And most of the time we can do it with our eyes closed. It's not hard for us, right? So that's one of the reasons it can be challenging. Number two, it can be challenging from the owner's mindset in that we're afraid of leaving money on the table. What does it mean if we stop treating or teaching? And then, so what do you think it means for you as an owner? And like, how am I going to make money if the only way you're paying yourself is with client care? Or are you going to lose money because people aren't going to stay? Clients aren't going to stay. And while that may happen initially, you as a business owner, if you want your business to grow beyond yourself, okay, it is a necessary step. It's like telling someone, if you want to lose weight, at some point, you're going to have to cut what you eat or stop drinking 6 Cokes a day or cut down on the alcohol. It's not easy, but if your goal is to create a sustainable and profitable business that does not revolve all around you, it is a necessary step. Okay. So from the client facing side, right? From the client facing side, one of the things that's really important to make this transition as smooth as possible for getting people off of your schedule is to understand the client's concerns. Now, what are some of those concerns? They are fear of change. People do not like change. They don't like change. Even if the change is for the better, people like things the way they are. What's that saying? That's like, I can't remember what it is, but it's better than like suffering with what you have is better than what the unknown is. That's not the phrase at all. I'm completely gutting it, but butchering it, but I can't remember what it is. But it's basically like people are fearful of what could be, so they're going to accept what they already have, right? So fear of change, people don't like that. Consistency, people like consistency, which also goes hand in hand with fear of change. Okay. And then quality, there is something to be said with working with the owner. There is a belief that the owner is the best. And I'm here to tell you, I am certainly not the best Pilates um, practitioner, instructor at my business, and I'm certainly not the best PT, right? Am I good at both of them? Yes, I am. But really, what makes me good at that is my ability to read and understand people and understand where they are at and how I can listen and buy into exactly where they are to get them where they want to be. Okay. So, from a client's perspective, we just need to understand that they're coming from a place of they don't like change, they like consistency, and they're worried that the quality is going to fall, right? Especially with people that have been seeing you for a long time, right? I have people when I started to make the transition off of client facing care. I mean, I had people that were coming to me for 10 years, people that were driving 40 minutes to come see me. So, that is hard to say to someone, I'm not going to be seeing patients anymore. Now, one of the things I want to say is this did not happen overnight for me. This was a process of probably maybe 6 years or so. It took about 6 years to happen. When I first opened my business, I was teaching a lot, treating a lot. So I was treating probably 30 hours a week and running the business. Then little by little, I started cutting down to 2 days a week, 3 days a week. And then eventually I opened another location. My hours went back up. And so then at one point, I actually broke my arm skiing and had to have surgery. I had an ORIF put in my wrist. And so I was forced to stop treating for a while because I couldn't do any manual work anymore. So that was a precipice for starting me even down the road of cutting my hours even more. And then at one point, probably 3 years ago, I think it was like 2018, I actually wrote a letter to my clients and we published it in a newsletter. And it basically said, I am stepping back from role as clinician because, the business needs me in a different capacity right now. And one of the reasons I did that was one, so that I could be transparent and open with people and people knew where it was coming from. But it also gave my clients and patients and even people that weren't my clients understanding the reasoning behind that. It wasn't that I wanted to stop seeing people. It was that I actually wanted to help more people. And the way for me to be able to help more people was to step into a leadership role so I could empower and teach and mentor the therapists and instructors and everything that were on our team so we could actually, in the end, help more people in the community. Okay. So, how did we do that? How did I do that? And how do I suggest a lot of you maybe think about this when you're trying to decrease your hours? Is decide how many hours you actually want to treat or teach. Okay. Some people prefer to be the full-time clinician and hire somebody else to do the admin work. That's not what I wanted to do, but that doesn't mean it's wrong if that's what you want to do. So there's a couple different things you have to take into account here. One is your schedule, you as the owner, and what it is that you want for you and your business and your future and your life. So if you no longer want to work nights or you no longer want to work weekends, then put those boundaries on there and say that you're closing off your night and weekend availability. Ideally, it would be perfect if you had somebody that you were going to transition into that role that was going to take over for you. Okay. One of the things that I do when I'm speaking to clients that I am going to pass off, or when I was going to be passing off people, I really explain to them, and this is something that we've ingrained in the culture of Pilates in the Grove and in our method and our process, was that we are a team at Pilates in the Grove, and we encourage our clients to work with a variety of instructors. So once I acknowledge my clients' concerns about, I understand change is never easy. I understand you're worried about, the quality, but I guarantee you we have a solid onboarding and hiring process. These people are probably better practitioners than I am. And one of the things I would do is really explain to them why collaboration and why working with other people was a benefit to them. When we get into seeing people 2 or 3 times a week for a long time, we can start to miss things because we just get so accommodated to seeing. When you get a new person coming in, they're looking at this client with a new set of eyes, they can find new things. They may have a different take on something. And it's like the best of both worlds when clients get to work with a variety of instructors, when they get the best of everything, right? So we really recommend at Pilates in the Grove collaborating with other service providers, whether that's taking privates with different people, being physical therapists, and having different practitioners treat the patients, specifically because there are some of us that have different skill sets. I'm really good at certain things. Other practitioners are like, I'm not dry needling certified. So if I want one of my patients to have dry needling, I'm going to refer them and have them schedule a session or two with one of our therapists that is certified in dry needling. Okay. I really discuss these benefits with the clients. We build a network of trusted professionals and trusted service providers in our team, in our studio, so that when clients are working with someone else, the quality is so good that they don't even really notice a difference, right? And this is where, when people say to me, well, I'm afraid to train them and mentor them because what if they leave? But here's the thing, if you don't train them to be great and they stay and nobody wants to go on their schedule because they suck, then you're not doing yourself any favors, right? So take the time to train your team, whether that means you train them, whether that means you pay for continuing education for them, you can do in-house services, but making sure that your team is just as good, if not better than you are, ensures that people are going to want to work with somebody else. The other thing is we really encourage our staff, our team, to be around the studio during the days, even the days that they're not necessarily working. Take classes, greet the clients in the lobby so that everyone knows who you are. And so when I'm like, oh, I'm off to next week, but Kelly is going to work with you, everyone knows who Kelly is. Okay. Some of the things that we do in our studio that make handing off clients or having clients see another practitioner very easy and kind of a no-brainer are some of the following. We do co-treating for a period of time. So if I have a new instructor coming in and I've taken over a class and now that person's going to take over my class again, we have them co-treat or co-teach with me for, 2 to 3 sessions. And the way that we do that is usually they observe me first so they can observe myself or one of the other instructors, see how it is that they've structured the class and meet the clients. Then we co-teach where we're both teaching. And then I'll have them teach and I'll be the secondary teacher so that the flow, the overflow, the exchange seems very streamlined. It's not like I teach one way and then you have another person come in that teaches a totally different way and clients are thrown off. They don't like that. Okay. So having people come in, meet the clients where they're at, and then little by little, they can infuse their own style and whatnot is helpful and beneficial. Okay. The other thing is that really talk when you're onboarding your team and when you're onboarding clients as well, talk about the team culture. Talk about the fact that every once in a while we'll adjust the schedule so different teachers are teaching different classes and we share clients. And when people are off, we just have other people cover. So the most important thing is that the clients stay consistent and all of our team is highly educated. So that is another way to make people comfortable working with a variety of practitioners. Next, you can have a system or a process in place where you tell clients at the time of evaluation or when they're scheduling their session. So your administrators or yourself, if you're the one answering the phones or scheduling people, you can say, oh, Krista she'll take an evaluation, but right at the time, she's not taking new clients. So she'll do the evaluation and then she's going to recommend the best practitioner for you to work with. And once she gets a good idea of where you're at, she's going to make sure that you're with the best provider possible. And then myself in that evaluation or one-on-one session, I will tell them, I'm going to follow up with you in 4 to 6 weeks. In the meantime, I want you to see Kelly. She's going to be the best practitioner for what you have. She actually specializes in XYZ. So I set it up right from the beginning that I am not going to see these people. Or I'm like, I'll see you for 2 to 3 sessions. And once we get through this first hump, I'm going to have you work with one of our exercise specialists, right? So there is a process right from the beginning that the client understands that they will be working with someone else. Okay. So the other thing that you can do that I did as well is I still treat, I treat 1 day a week on Wednesdays. And I basically have like banker's hours. I'm available from 8 to 1. So if somebody can be on a Wednesday from 8 to 1, then they can be on my schedule. Some people can't get on every week. So they do every other week or once a month, and they have to schedule out in advance. The other thing, as you know, I have a higher rate than my other practitioners. And that is not because I am better. It's not. It's because I have less time. It's supply and demand. So that's another thing. So sometimes if people are like, well, I really want to work with you, I'm like, well, my rate is 250. And Kelly and Lisa, they're at 199. So there's no difference. I just have less time on my schedule, right? So if people are more money sensitive, it can be that that's a way to help people realize that they can get equally the same amount of care at a different price point. Okay. Especially if you as owner, it's literally just economics. Okay. It's unit economics. So when there's less supply of something and there's a higher demand, things are more expensive. Like right now in the grocery store, right? There's less supply, there's more demand. So the cost of eggs and milk and everything is more expensive. So if your supply is less, your time, and the demand is high, your time to raise your rates. Some people might stay and some people might not. Okay. But this is a time, if you have a wait list, that's what you can do. And then you can say, in the meantime, but I'm actually having a lot of my clients work with, Jane, she has the same rate that I'm currently on. I'm just moving to a different rate because my hours are going to start to diminish. Start to create boundaries in your schedule. So like I said, I work 8 to 1 on Wednesdays. If a client can't fit into that schedule, then I recommend they work with somebody else. And I'm not saying, like, I know that I sound right now like this is like, oh, just do it. It's easy. No, it took me a long time of banging my head against the wall, a long time of, fighting with my internal self that I felt bad of, who do I think I am closing my schedule off like that? And who do I think I am raising my rates? And who do I think I am? And what do I think I'm doing? And, people need this help. But the truth is, people do need the help, but I have equally qualified staff that can help them. It doesn't have to be me. Okay. So that was all the same stuff going on in my head. So one of the things I did was I just put my administrators on my schedule, and I said, don't let anyone else schedule in that time, because I was a pushover. Now I'm much better at it because I feel very confident. Okay. But for a long time, I was a pushover. Oh, you want to see me at 7? Okay, no problem. Right. Then I just started to learn and say, no, I don't have to tell them why. I just say I'm not available at 7. Okay. So having somebody set those boundaries for you. If you don't want to work Saturdays, then hire somebody to work Saturdays, and don't hire them if they cannot work on a Saturday. So create those schedule boundaries. Okay. Create a plan. So let's say this is what I did also. So let's say that I was treating every day of the week, and I was like, I just can't do this anymore. It's not sustainable. I have no time to work on the business, which is the issue for a lot of people, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to take 1 day off. So I closed my schedule off on Fridays, and that's how it started. And then I said, okay, I'm going to see 4 days a week, but now I want to get down to 15 visits. So every time I discharge someone, or I would only say, at the time I might have been seeing people twice a week, I was like, I'm only seeing people once a week now. So for your second visit, you can see so-and-so. And little by little, I made a plan that I started cutting people off my schedule little by little by little. I also did not take new clients. No new clients on my schedule. All right. And I started saying, if I did see a new client, then I was like, I'm not having people on my schedule. I don't have the capacity right now, but Jane or somebody on my schedule is going to be seeing you. And I'm around, I'll check in on you and all of that stuff. So I had a plan that over a 6-month period, I was going to cut my client facing hours from 22-ish down to less than 15. And the way that I did that was, first I took Fridays off so I could have a whole day. And then I started eliminating people on the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, to the point that I only got down to 2 days a week. I was working Tuesday and Thursday, and now I'm only working 1 day a week, or I'm only treating patients 1 day a week on Wednesdays. So it doesn't have to be an all or nothing. Okay, if you're like me and broke our arm, like that's one of the things that helped me. I was able to just say, I can't treat anymore. So this is what happened. And other people stepped up. And by the time I was ready to come back, clients were used to it, and clients will be fine. Okay. A lot of what I think has really helped me is do things like co-treating, introduce the clients to the other practitioners, encourage them to come in and watch and shadow, have these people do in-services so that you can train your staff to see things the way that you do, to align with things. And one of the reasons people like to work with you as an owner, a lot of times, sometimes it has to do with your skill set. And if that's the case, then you need to hire better people. Okay, you need to hire better practitioners. So if they're just not up to par in your skill, then you need to hire other people or train them better. That's just easy piece of cake. Okay. And you're like, well, if it's going to cost me $1,000, yeah. So if it costs you $1,000 to send a practitioner to a continuing education course, which is an expensive course, $1,000, let's say, but you can now pass off 4 clients, and that they're going to make that back in a week, and you're going to get 4 hours of your week back. That's a win. Okay. That is a huge return on your investment. Huge time. Okay. So have a system and have a plan. And also you have to speak from confidence. So if you're like, oh, well, I think I'm going to have you see so-and-so, and your client's not going to be confident. You want to say, so, I'm not going to be treating anymore. I'm not going to be teaching this class anymore, but we're going to be having Jane come teach this class. And she's honestly been teaching longer than I have. She was my instructor, or you're going to love her. And then give that person a way for them to be successful. What is, Charlie like in the class? What is XYZ? Because the reason people like to work with you, I think I got sidetracked. I was going to say this, is less with your skill and more just how you connect with people. Okay. Usually we as owners, the reason we're owners is because we are really good at what we do and we have a great rapport with people. Right. And we're natural, like salespeople this way. So if that's something that is, hire people that can also do the same thing, and encourage your team to go do networking events so you're not the only face of the brand. Encourage, when on your social media, don't be the only person on your social media, because if that's what you're doing, then everyone's going to want to work with you. On your website, make sure that you're highlighting all your other practitioners. Give your other practitioners agency to be in the photo shoots, to be in advertising materials. At Pilates in the Grove now, I think I taught a class I covered for somebody not that long ago, and 2 of the people were like, oh, are you new here? I love it. I don't need people to know that I'm the owner. I don't care. I don't care. They're like, oh, we're going to tell so-and-so that you did a really great job. And I was like, thanks so much. They didn't know I was the owner. It was fine. I don't care. To be honest, I'm happy sometimes that people don't know I'm the owner. When they're like, I want to speak to the owner, I'm like, yeah, she's not here. Sorry. So those would be my suggestions for how to start to encourage your clients to work with other people. Okay. Stop taking new clients. We're just going to review. Don't take any new clients on your schedule. Encourage your current staff to get out and start networking. Go to community events with you. Make sure to be highlighting the rest of your team on social media, on the website, in announcements, running a promo. Get your team engaged in trying to grow their own schedules. Encourage your clients to work with these people by shouting them out, by giving them praise, by announcing that they did this new continuing education course. And if they're not up to par with their skills, then train them or send them to get trained. It is worth the investment. It is worth the investment. Besides the fact that it's worth the investment for your clients, it's worth the investment for your team, because now they're going to be loyal and aligned. You're invested in their professional development. Okay. So that's something that, not every place does, and it's going to make you a great place to work. Really try to foster the team environment. And then, lastly, a really easy way is raise your rates. Now, some of this has to do with your clients, but some of this also has to do with you and your mindset. Okay. Around holding true to your boundaries and being okay with people being off your schedule and understanding that you will continue to make good money. But if you keep jumping back in, it's never going to work, right? You're going to keep finding yourself back on the schedule. So if you say, I'm going to cut my schedule, I'm not going to see clients on Friday, then don't see clients on Friday. Don't see clients on Friday. You don't have to tell people, I don't work on Fridays. You can just say, I'm not available. I don't have anything on my schedule on Fridays. I can see you on Tuesday. Right? And then start little by little closing off your schedule until you get it the way that you like it. I personally am not great at task switching. And what I mean by task switching is Wednesdays, I really try to keep a patient day, because I'm not really good at going from like patient care and teaching classes to administrative work or coaching and this stuff. So I have my administrative days where I really focus on content creation and growth strategy. And then I have my coaching and mentorship days. And then I have my client care days. Now, you might be okay, like having a Swiss cheese schedule. For me, I wasn't good that way. So I got it down to the point that if I said I wanted to teach 10 hours a week, I was like 2 5-hour days. And then the other days I could be working on the business or taking a day for myself. That's okay too. As an owner, it's okay to say, yeah, I'm not going to see clients on Friday and I'm not going to work on Fridays. I'm going to have a day off. The other benefit to this is that if you start freeing up your schedule as the owner and someone calls in sick, you don't have to cancel all those clients. You can jump in and treat them. So that's what I do now. So if someone calls in sick or they go on vacation, I can jump in and teach the class and see the private or the patient. And then now I'm not having to cancel and lose that revenue because someone's sick. Right? But if you're at a full caseload and someone calls in sick, you have to cancel all those people. You have no one to see them. So this is something that, while it's not easy to do, it is really, really important if you as a business owner want to grow your team beyond just yourself or beyond you and another practitioner. You have to start empowering your team to step up so that you can step back from the day-to-day operations. And this, my friends, is exactly what we talk about in our mentorship program. So if you are interested, at the time of this recording, the Inner Circle is now closed for enrollment. We will not be reopening until the summer, July 2023. But if you're interested in learning how to do this and you're surpassed $250,000 in revenue, go get yourself on the wait list to be one of the first to get access to one of the spots that opens in July. And you can do that by visiting www.kristagurka.com/mentorship. kristagurka.com/mentorship. Now, if you're an emerging business owner that is approaching 6 figures, or you want to earn your first 6 figures, or you're just passing your first 6 figures, but you got to learn how to get yourself off the schedule too, then apply for our signature program, which is FitBiz Foundations. That is currently open for enrollment. And you can do that by visiting kristagurka.com/FitBizFoundations. Fit, F-I-T, biz, B-I-Z, foundations, okay? We'll link it all up in the show notes, or DM me over on Instagram. I love to hear people. I'm in my DMs all the time. I'm always looking for amazing female business owners to join our groups. I really feel strongly that if we put more hands in the hands of more money in the hands of women, teach more women to be financially independent and have agency over their business, we will have more impact on them, on themselves, on their families, on their communities. We'll get more people moving better, living healthier, pain-free lives. And a rising tide raises all ships, my friends. So check out my website, kristagurka.com. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. And until next time, my friends, bye for now.